Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Essential Podcast. I'm super excited to be back and on another episode. Today we'll be diving into the company, the Roof Resource. I'm super excited to have the CEO and founder with us today, Mike, who's able to give us more insights on his experience, how he started the company, and where's it going. So to dive right into it, I'm gonna hand the mic over to Mike, and if you can just introduce yourself and a little bit about your company.
Great. Well, hey, appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. Especially, a podcast that's out in the mountain time out on the west side. I'm here in Michigan, so it's great to reach more people out there. But so Mike Harvey, the founder and CEO of the Roof Resource, I started um, the company in December of 2020. We are the first ever cloud-based, 100% virtual roofing company providing homeowners up to 50% less than retail on a brand new roof. We focus on roof off, roof on, and we never meet homeowners. We do this 100% virtually, just like this on Zoom.
Okay, interesting. So how does that virtual approach work? Do you get clients, you quote them out and you pass it off to an in-person company?
No, we actually handle everything. It's our IP and everything that we do, how we've structured this so that we know it's the similar situation if you yourself were to have a roofing company come out and meet with you and go through a 2-hour sales presentation and all of that. We handle everything for the homeowner. So from meeting with them, taking them through a 20 to 30-minute Zoom on their roof report, a proposal, and then we get them installed in 7 to 10 days. We handle from all the materials and the shipping, the dumpster, the permit, the labor, the partnerships that we've developed nationally. We handle all of this for the homeowner. And the goal is removing all the complexity and stress and confusion for a homeowner and just making it very simple.
There you go. And I mean, you guys are, covering a broad range of the items, the processes. Is this all experience that you'd brought in, or what's been your role as you've started and grown this company?
Corporate 25 years in corporate America, and I left that and I started, I think I'm a little long in or I say I'm playing the back nine now of my life. And I was going to start consulting, and a friend said, "Hey, do you want to, join my roofing company? And you've scaled sales, processes and systems across the country for a telecom company. You could come and make changes here." And first I was like, "No, thank you. I'm afraid of heights and roofing is not my thing." So, um, but kept on badgering me in a nice way, and I said, "Okay, let's try it." We go out, we make a couple $100,000 in 3 weeks, and then we gross $1 million in 9 months. But it was that all the experiences of understanding what has gone on in the traditional retail roofing world for 5 decades, that it hasn't changed, and it's homeowners don't know what they don't know. And so I had a Jerry Maguire moment with a customer, and I felt like, hey, I was taking advantage of them. The roof only cost me $6,200 all in. I sold it for 13,000. They were going in their 401k to pull out money. They had two little kids. They were teachers. They were super happy, but a couple days later I was installing family, and I gave them my price. I gave them cost. Like, for anyone who runs a business, when your mother and your father or your aunt and uncle come to you and say, "Can you do X for me?" Do you charge them retail, or do you actually hook them up, give them your price? And
Right.
so that was the moment where I said, wouldn't it be cool if I created an experience like this for complete strangers? And so I left that partnership 2 days later, literally was done, and took 4 months to model out the roof resource.
Interesting. So, are you with this goal of providing people with that great product at a lower price? Do you guys do something differently to try to get those prices smaller still?
Well, we have national pricing because we are in several states now. So we have national pricing through one of the largest building supply houses. We're attracting some of the top roofing companies in certain markets that just love to do installs. They're not really out there to try to sell customers and have accounts receivables and managing cash flows. They just want to show up, and what we call them, they're our rooftop rock stars because they just show up, they come to the concert, all the materials are there, the dumpster's there, and they get paid in full the day they walk off the roof. And so we've attracted so many great, talented roofing companies to do the work. We just manage the whole process. And so it's a little bit of like the Airbnb, they don't own anything, but they run everything. So we have elements of that. And so I've always referred to our model being it's the first cloud-based roofing company. Blockbuster is the traditional 102,000 roofing companies in your city today. They all do the same thing. And then there's the Roof Resource or Netflix or Amazon. It is low price, high quality installation, save you money, make it super simple. And we've done that for roofing.
So you guys, and that's okay. I'm understanding the virtual aspect of that now. You guys are making the phone calls. You guys are organizing appointments. You guys organize everything A to Z, and then have your operators on site complete the task, while you cross the T's, dot the I's, and you make the overall experience for the customer way better.
Yeah, we've developed our software to the point where we're really happy with, when we give a quote to a customer, that is down to the penny. So it's not, well, it's an estimate and then it changes 500 or 1,000 or two. No, it is, they can hold us to that proposal because the pricing is down to the penny on, all the materials or a Certainty Landmark Pro full system. Then that means, hey, it's not only just the shingle, but it's the ice and water shield, the underlayment, the cap, the starter. It's like having a Ford vehicle and you open up the engine and are all the parts a Ford part or are they just different components? You would never buy that car. Well, what we're doing for homeowners is we're actually lifting up the hood and we're showing them you get all of that. And that guarantees them lifetime manufacturer warranties and it gives them a level of certainty and transparency that really doesn't exist throughout the roofing industry.
Wow. And I mean, you said previously how there hadn't been much change in the roofing industry for a while. You saw this gap of this lack of information, that would greatly benefit people. You filled it. What other trends and things that are going on in the market is influencing your company right now?
Well, I mean, we get a lot of requests now because of a homeowner trusting us with their roof. They're asking us for gutters, gutter guards, windows, siding, flooring, cement, so we have the ability to get into all of those other markets too with how we have orchestrated in our IP on the back end. We know that we can do that. And so I think that we're at a time where we hear a lot about this word transparency. However, our companies are ARE companies being truly transparent. And so we're leading that way. And we know that over the next maybe 3 to 5 years, some other companies are gonna either adapt. It's my Moneyball line: adapt or die. I love that movie. But it's either adapt, to do what's right for the homeowner, and when it's not, how much money can I make off of that one person? Because man, they had no clue, and I sold them at the highest price I could, and you had sales reps. And so we see this trend that it's going to be just more home services, but the transparency of delivering this kind of experience to people that, don't know us, but they do in a way because I built this company for the homeowner. Whereas sometimes, Quade, you'll see companies that build their company and think of the product and think of the profit, and then they got to build in their SG&A, and then they got to build in their marketing, and they got to build in their advertising, and the next thing when you see the companies respectfully on TV and radio and ads all over the place, how do they pay for that? It's just not free money. It's just not, they just don't have burn rates that are at, 500 grand a month, right? It comes from the consumer. And we decided that we're drawing a line in the sand and we want those referrals. We want partnerships. We want people in the community to really get the word out. And so we feel that we're going to lead this whole trend and it's going to lead into other trades along the way.
I think a big thing, that I saw there is you guys have done really good at the. I mean, you'd think of roofing being a one-time sale. I mean, they're probably, maybe come back 20 years later if you're lucky. But as you said, you've built this relationship where they're wanting to do other products. I'm curious onto the side of when you first get that customer, what are you guys doing to attract people to start that process and that service with you guys?
Well, I mean, we do some traditional, Google search because really when people need to get a roof, they don't go to Facebook. They don't go to Instagram. They go to Google, right? And they're Googling, I need a roof, I have a leak. And so we're showing up, there for them. And so we do have some ad budgets, with every corporate unit and a franchisee to spend a little bit of money there. But I can tell you the press the flesh, meeting with realtors and meeting with the brokers of the real estate agencies, meeting with insurance agency owners, because we save insurance agents hundreds of thousands of dollars per year in their loss ratios, I can share more about that. But it's being in the community when people see that, hey, you're the roof resource and you're not, JB Construction, roofing, siding, gutters, and it's the kind of the same thing. Um, they literally drag us around and they want us to, tell people about who we are. We have a flat fee, Quade, that we charge for every job. And that flat fee is the same in Idaho, in Michigan, in Colorado, in Ohio, Texas, New Jersey, soon to be Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and North Carolina. So the process is exactly the same, because again, when I was in my corporate life, I had to unify and systematize sales training in 10 states and 17 markets. That took some time. And so, but the end result was massive success. And so that was the same approach that I took here, was that when a customer in Salt Lake City gets a proposal, it's the same thing that a customer in Michigan gets. And the process is the same.
I mean, it's super, super streamlined and straightforward for the customer and for the people you're helping. Um, you know, Obviously a big selling point of your guys is trying to make it as affordable as possible for the homeowners, and maybe not being that, like you said, not being that salesman trying to overcharge them and things like that. I guess, how do you guys find that balance? Because obviously you want to provide the most value to the customer, you want to provide the most value to the roofers. How do you guys make that balance?
Well, we remove selling. We are here to serve. Our goal and our mission is just don't get a roof until you've talked to us, because we're going to provide you with what cost is with our small flat fee, and that's it. Now we're going to empower you with the right information if you choose to go out and meet with other companies, and each company is going to be an hour to 3 hours of a sale, really a sales presentation. If the customer wants to go down that road, they absolutely can. But what we find out is that they get the price. They're super happy because we lead with it. As you know, in other sales processes, it's build the value, build the Google, build value, come back, price condition. How does that compare to the budget you were looking to spend? And then negotiate, and then hit them with a price and negotiate, and then try to close. All of that is gone with us. It's like, I mean, you don't want that. I mean, you want to be able to go in and, hey, respectfully, you go to Starbucks and you say, hey, I want a venti chai latte. Okay, it's 6.42. If they said, okay, it's $12, and you'd be like, what? I'm like, well, what'd you think this was going to cost? Well, maybe $5. And all right, well, how about seven? Would you ever go back
No.
if someone was trying to actually make more money off of you, but because you had to negotiate, next thing you know, they've dropped $4,000? And so we just removed all of it. And we just said, hey, you know what? You're getting cost pricing for your entire roof, high quality installation. So price that 800-pound elephant removes. But our biggest focus, Quade, is this, and that is the Zoom meeting. And that is, who are you, right? And, we have got a ton of data. And usually in my office, when I'm doing a Zoom with someone, there's a green plant behind me. And this sounds really crazy, but a green plant builds trust 67% more. There's data out there. We brought in a God, what was her name? Her name's Sherry Major. You guys should look her up. She's amazing. But all this data, because I said, hey, guess what? We're not going in and shaking hands. We need to build trust on our calls. And so we want to make certain that, hey, this is our process, this is what we do. And so it was like this. I mean, always have the screen, showing, because you're building trust, because they can kind of see your little statues and things behind you. You've got your green plant. And so all of the franchisees really picked up on that. Because again, that's our moment, right? It's kind of like you're on stage for 20 minutes and that person's going to judge you, because if they don't like it, all they do is have to click off and it's gone. You're done. And so that's our focus, to make certain that we're asking the right questions up front. We then order the roof report. We build their proposal. It takes minutes. And then we go on a Zoom call. And we really want to make certain that we're just putting our best foot forward, talking a little bit about our core values and why we've done what we've done. But the selling side of it, is, how does that compare? How do we earn your business today? What if we knocked off something? All of that's gone, because when you're providing cost, there's nothing else to remove, There's no like, hey, I can't go to our national supplier and say I need to shave off $75 or $100. There's truly, when we've said it's cost, it's truly cost.
So you guys, I mean, you give information, you give knowledge, you build the trust, and then you let them choose for themselves based on what they need, what they're looking for.
Correct. I just got a text the other day. A friend that works for a large window replacement company was selling someone, and they said, "Hey, this is great, but we need a new roof." And they sent my information. This was about 2 months ago, and I got a text message from I got a message from Derek, excuse me, and he was like, "Hey, we're ready to go." So these happen all the time. It's not like, hey, you got to get in line, or hey, hurry up and put a deposit down because we got to put you on the schedule. Those are all sales tactics. And so we empower the homeowner with that information, and we always say, hey, we're ready when you're ready.
Interesting. So I mean, you guys are building this footprint, you're building this brand. I mean, as you said, insurance companies are coming to you, all kinds of people are coming to you guys. You've done great. What would you say is your like 10-year vision for this company as you grow into other states? Are you looking to focus on franchising, more corporate owned? What are you thinking?
Mhm. By the end of this year, we'll have 100 units, and that's pretty big to have 100 units in multiple states. We've got a lot of interest right now happening in Salt Lake City, so don't be surprised if see the name out there in about 3 months. So we're already in Idaho. The state of Montana was just awarded, um, and so building out through the Midwest, and Pennsylvania and New Jersey are going to be all corporately ran. And so we'll reach that goal most likely by September, October. And, in the next 10 years, the vision is that we're going to be leading the charge, right? Because when you take a look at Amazon, and when you take a look at Netflix, and then there was Netflix, and then there was Prime, or then there was another streaming company, and it changed the whole video world for, so many businesses. It kind of knocked out the digital boxes from all of the cable providers, right? Because everybody is streaming, and so we're going to lead that, but it's going to be everything under the roof. Again, it's going to be the landscaping, it's going to be concrete, it's going to be windows and siding and roofs and gutters and gutter guards. And we want to be that household name that when people think of, I need something, and yourself, you're a young strapping man, and you've got a house. It's always like, don't go to Facebook and see, anybody know anybody who does this, and you're getting referrals of referrals. We truly want to be that trusted resource, so much that they know that, wow, I know I'm getting a great price, and I'm getting great quality, and I'm getting choice and selection, and I'm not being pressured at all.
So I mean that's a great value proposition for everyone. And you have states grow into, you have more services grow into, and I mean that's all in all, you guys are doing real great. How's the company expanding on, I mean, on your side of things? Do you guys have a lot of employees in the background doing those virtual items? Or
Yeah, so we have 9 on staff right now, and this tremendous growth just happened because we just went national in November of 24.
wow,
And so in November 24, we only had like 6 franchise units. And, since then we went national and, we signed with IFPG and Francer, which is the 2 largest franchise broker groups in the country. Brokers have been reaching out to us and kind of like, hey, where were you? We were awarded the top 100 game changers in 2024, and we didn't even franchise in 2020. It's just the model being the first ever cloud-based roofing company, doing what we're doing. And so all this growth of selling out Idaho, Montana, Columbus, Ohio market into Dayton, Ohio, the entire Austin, Texas market, and then Colorado in Denver, and then 2 in New Jersey. And then we were just about to sign this so that we're going to do all of Pennsylvania and the rest of New Jersey as corporate units. And then we sold out the rest of the southern part of Michigan. All of that happened in the last 90 to 120 days.
wow. I mean, that's probably one of the most frictionless scale ups I've ever heard of, which is
Well,
very impressive.
You know, and something I've been able to do Zooms and with customers when I'm in Florida with my family. I've been able to do it when I'm in the hills of Tennessee, and I bring on, and then our operations team can be virtual, so they're, vacationing, they're in their mobile, they're in their, fifth wheels or whatever. And we can still provide that level of service and that level of experience because, we set up all the work, we set up all the systems. And so the homeowner has this seamless process. And what's great too, Quade, is they write that in their reviews. They just don't say, "Hey, I use the roof resource. They're really good. Give them a shot." They literally write novels of just their experience and how it went and other roofing companies. And not that they're taking shots at them, but it really gives a potential customer, hey, this is what you're about to experience. So, which is pretty cool.
Like I'm hearing a lot of, I mean, some amazing things, but I'm sure there's got to be some hard parts to this, right? It's the things in the background that you're working through. What's been some of the biggest challenges you guys have had scaling up like that?
It's too good to be true. It's too simple. Your price is too low. My first year, I did just shy of 100 customers myself. In the roofing world, it's about 2,500 squares, never meeting anybody. I probably lost 150 customers. Then I would follow up with them, and they said, "Well, I went with so and so," and I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, how'd the price compare to ours?" "Well, it was like 6 grand, but you were just, it's like throw out the low, throw out the high, go somewhere in the middle."
Uh-huh.
And it's too good to be true. It's too good to be true. And that's been the biggest piece because it almost looks scamish in a way. Like, I'm going to get a roof at 50% less. And this big company that is advertising on TV and radio, they do great work, but they're 39,000 and you're only 14,000? Something's not right. And it wasn't until Quade that we said, then we're going to take the gloves off. We're going to go ahead and say, hey, guess what? This is what they do. Great company, great install, great products because we install Atlas luxury designer or Atlas designer shingles too in full systems. And we actually happen to use the same people that they use to install, but we're like 25,000 less.
Wow.
So, and it happens all over the country. And so, and again, we're not knocking them. We're just saying that's Blockbuster. Like, Blockbuster was a great experience, right? You got to go in and there was 30 movies and you hope that one came back and you got to choose your popcorn and meet with people and everyone's excited. Well, you can do that, or you can just pop on Prime or Netflix, and that just changed the way people viewed. And we're that pioneer. So we do get, the arrows in the back. There's some people that don't like us because of what we're doing. So that biggest challenge is, hey, it's too good to be true. We've had to pull back some of the information because sometimes it's just like fire hose
Mm,
information to a homeowner, and sometimes it's too much. And one other challenge was when we come to you and say, hey, here's this one brand and this one shingle, and this is really good. Well, now we're coming to the homeowner and saying, being that they're all going to be top of the line, you now get your choice of all of them and the price doesn't change. So sometimes that's like the mind blows, and homeowners are like, oh my God, like I can choose from all these colors and patterns and then these colors. And if they're all the same, everyone has their own personal preference. But truly, from a quality perspective, if you get all the manufacturers to line up on these lines that we have, they're all going to say they're dynamite. If it's obviously if they're installed correctly. So we had to figure out a way to communicate that in a way that it wasn't too overwhelming to customers as well.
I mean, I knew something was up when you were even dialing in the plants behind you and things like that. I mean, to build the trust, right? I mean, there must have been something going pretty wrong. So you guys attacked it with trust and knowledge, is what I'm
Well,
hearing.
it's truly it was just like, hey, you know what, and we just want them now just to get a proposal from us. Like when you get that proposal, read the reviews over 1,000. Just you can trust it. We'll deliver it, and that's been the weight of the world on my shoulders. If I go around or and I see that a roof is being loaded, and I might want to check the address, and even though it's not us, I feel responsible that that homeowner potentially overpaid or didn't get the transparency that they needed. Right? It would be like you with this podcast and the other businesses that you do, and a family member may be going off and doing something else, and you'd be like, well, why didn't you come to me? Like, I would have told you, and that's what I do. And that's kind of like my responsibility that I feel, which is the reason why franchising was for me a faster way to get into all of these markets, to be to bring that level of transparency to homeowners.
Tell us a little more about that franchising. What obviously it brings benefits of scaling. What were some of the negatives that you saw that came from it or challenges?
Uh, Well, when I became a national franchisor, March 30th of 2023 was a pretty daunting day. It was an exciting day because it took like 10 months to build the infrastructure of it. I used SMB franchise consultants out of Philadelphia. They're the number 2 franchise consultant company in the country. And that was a daunting experience. And then it was people that have heard about me here in this market. They just came running and I want to buy. And all of this excitement and cash is flowing. But you didn't take a step back and find out, why do they want to be part of the roof resource? How are they going to operate their business every single day? What are they going to do in their territories? Are they going to own it? Or are they just going to sit behind a laptop and wait for a lead to come in? And other than that, they're not going to do anything else because our territories, Quade, are 170 to 180,000 homes, residential homes, massive territories. They own it. It's protected for them. Like nothing else, no one else could come in there, not even corporate. And so you take those 10 or 15 surrounding cities in Salt Lake and you put all those together, you can just drive into a sub and see 200 homes and pick out 50 of them that need to be replaced right away. And so what happened was that you start bringing on some really smart business owners, but not the right fit for the franchise.
Mm.
And so what we had to do is really stop and take a look and match the energy that we pour into people in the franchise and to make certain that it's reciprocal. And so that's the reason why in 2024 we had broken marketing, we had messaging that was get a roof at cost. And it's like people don't even know what that is, right? Get a roof at cost, right? I mean, so we had to fix all of that and then really take our time vetting and truly aligning with the right people who want to franchise and work the business in their market. And that took some time because now it's the old run fast, go alone, go slow, go together. And that was the 2025, let's go slow, let's go together, let's grow together. So
Interesting. I'd love to hear more about your relationship with these franchises. Um, what are you providing them, and what's that relationship like? What do they give you?
yeah, so The a franchisee gets basically the business in a box. They get everything. They don't have to figure out their Google. They don't have to figure out their website. They don't have to figure out SEO. They don't have to figure out, Google Analytics. They don't have to figure any of that out. We have the vendors that just take care of all of that for them. All the assets, our new affinity program that allows them to partner up with businesses for small little referrals throughout the months and years, to real estate vendors, real estate companies, insurance companies. We have all those assets already built out for them to pick up and use, as well as, when they want to do a trade show. We've done all of that so that someone basically can be in a $1 billion business and a franchise fee is $57,000 for a 10-year ownership. So when you take 57,000 and you divide it over 10 years, it's pretty inexpensive to have a business in a box. And it's virtual. So you can do this from Starbucks, you can do it on vacation, and that's what makes it so unique.
I mean, insane amount of value going there. Is it also a type of franchise where you're, you're obviously providing this value, upfront cost, and then a little bit on the top too, I'm assuming?
Well, I mean, there's a royalty. Is that what you mean? Yeah, so there's a royalty that they pay, which is 7%. The industry standard is 5 to 7%. And we really don't fee a lot because there's no CapEx. And so when people are looking at the franchise, there's no vehicles to buy, there's no cleaning materials, there's no, hey, you got to house your truck in a cold weather market in a storage unit, in a warehouse, and you got to rent the brick and mortar. We don't have any of that. I mean, they do it in their home. They have a home office, and if they want to have an office, they can. Um, and so now we're letting them know that, hey, put a decal or wrap your car that says the Roof Resource and the QR code on it so that people can see you and, snap a picture of that and get a proposal within 24 hours. By the way, I don't know if I mentioned that, but that's they get a proposal within 24 hours, and we'll have the roof on in 7 to 10 days. You know, so so that's what they get. I mean, it's for 10 years, and then it's just we put the marketing plans together. They don't have to figure it out. But the other piece that we expect from them, Quade, is when you're not calling on the leads that are coming in or doing proposals, go out into your market and choose a city because you're probably going to have 25 or 30, and choose that city and go be the mayor. Go kiss babies, shake hands, go talk to the real estate agents and blow their minds with, hey, I can have that proposal within one day, 50% less than retail, put on a brand new roof, sell the house for 30 grand more because you've only spent 12 grand on a roof. Or the insurance agents and the mortgage brokers. So those are the three avenues that they're meeting with. Not to mention just anybody else for that matter that someone knows of you and they're like, hey, call the Roof Resource. So
You guys bringing a tremendous value to those getting into the franchise. I mean, they're bringing tremendous value to homeowners. And I mean, it all started with your experiences. I'd love to kind of shift away for a second and focus more on your growth as we finish up the podcast. What would you say is you know, the most important thing that you've had to do, the biggest skills that you've had to have to grow this business?
I go back to, man, I in corporate America, I worked for Wow Internet, Cable, and Phone, and they're out of Colorado Springs. And Colleen Abdullah was the CEO for 13 years there, and she created a culture unlike anything I've ever seen. And I would always say that I never went to work; I just went to Wow, and I got to work with some amazing, amazing people that I just absorbed all the different pieces from different leaders, and that culture, that was based on the core values of that company at the time was accountability, integrity, respect, and servanthood. Just and we all would breathe that air. That became who we are. And so Colleen, though, just had this innate focus on the customer experience. And it was something I'd never seen before. It was literally build back from the customer experience and how that was. And so when I opened up the Roof Resource and I was so focused, I would reach out to her. And today she's actually on my board. She gets asked to be on many, many people's boards. But it's being able to take all of the learnings, Quade, that and kind of be that sponge and just go in with, and this room is there's a bunch of smart people in here, and I'm going to be able to learn from them all, right? There's some people that go into a room and feel like they're the smartest. And we've all heard people say that's the wrong room for you to be in, right? And, so I was blessed with work with many great people over the years and really take all of what I've done and really apply it here. And that's the reason why I think that we're really, really ready for a huge trajectory this year.
Wow. Well, that's super great. And thank you for sharing all you shared and giving these amazing insights. I think there's a lot one could take away from, how you've executed this business, you're kind of changing the way people do business, right? Instead of just maximizing profit by sucking every customer dry, you're helping them, you're benefiting them, and that's how you're finding more business, right?
Yeah, yeah, we just kind of taken away that, hey, we have a small flat fee that we charge, for the entire project. When you total it all up for materials, labor, dumpster permit, our flat fee, we're up to 50% less than retail. And it's not about us trying to get to 400 roofs in a year or 500 roofs. We've got plans to be doing 50,000 roofs a year. And it's about just make a little bit off a lot and not try to go out and, hit the grand slam off of one homeowner. So.
There you go. Well, thank you so much for sharing your inside secrets, all the knowledge that you've gained over the years. Is there Before we end and seal things off, is there anything else you'd like to share about the roof resource or anything you've learned?
I would just say, because you're out there in Salt Lake City, as I mentioned, that hey, we're going to be coming, and we've got great franchisees that just opened up for the state of Idaho. So when customers or people are just curious of, hey, what would my roof be? They just go to the roofresource.com, enter their name, email address, and phone number. They'll get contacted by one of the franchisees, and within 24 hours, we'll let them know just how affordable their roof can be.
And is it easiest to go to the website? Is it my right?
Yes.
What is it?
That is theroofresource.com.
Perfect. Then again, thank you for coming on. Everyone, be sure to check out the website. It's a great product, great service. Definitely a lot to learn from it. So thank you for everyone tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Great. Thank you, Wade.